Okay, how about now? That looks better. I assume everybody can hear me now. Excellent. Yeah, a couple of Windows updates happened during the week, and apparently they disconnected audio devices from OBS, so have to put them all back together kind of manually. Okay, um, let's start off with the latest update in the saga of Dinosaur Bob's new computer. Um, Everything except the case is sitting in my dining room. Everything is the parts have been inspected. Everything is there. It looks right. The only thing missing, as I said, is the case. Um, I thought it was supposed to come in through. Here's the fun part. According to the company that I ordered everything from and the tracking number they gave me, it's still on a boat in the Pacific that's supposed to dock in Vancouver and then get picked up by um, United Parcel Service and traveled across the entire North American continent to New Jersey to get to me. But in the meantime, another package has mysteriously arrived at the Alameda uh, docks in Southern California, and that package has made it at least to Chicago. It's probably actually in New Jersey today. And we can't imagine, my wife and I can't imagine that it is anything other than my case because we're not waiting for anything else. So it's a whole different tracking number. It's a whole different thing. We're not 100% sure what it is, but there is a very, very good possibility that sometime on Tuesday the case will get delivered. And if that is the case, then sometime between Wednesday and Friday at the latest, we will have assembly. I am anticipating that my Sunday stream a week from today will be my first one. Maybe I'll get two half cases. I hope not. I'm hoping that my stream a week from today will be the break-in stream for the whole new rig. Until then, experience has taught me to try to keep things simple on these streams so that I don't. Am I doing an assembly stream? No. Only because of room and location. It'd be too much of a pain in the neck to set up a camera where the assembly is going to go. That would be a good idea, but I don't think it's going to fly here. What I am going to do today, again, is try to keep things. So you could have helped. Yeah. Fortunately, I have a good friend who he's actually the guy who helped me spec everything out. He has put together. I mean, I've put together machines in my day. It was funny though, and I was seriously considering doing the assembly myself. It's not that hard, but something happened yesterday to make me realize that I want to wait for my friend to be there with me. And that thing was a silly little thing. We opened up the solid state drive just to see how it was going to, and the motherboard. And we are just kind of looking because he was down. He was down. My friend was down yesterday. We were doing a live Pathfinder session. So we were looking over the parts that I had, and he's looking at the place where the solid state drive is going to connect into the motherboard. And there's a little like retaining clip that needs to be installed just to keep it from rocking or jiggling out over time. And it's not intuitive how you use this retaining clip. So he grabbed the instruction book just to look it up real quick and see how it works. And then I took the instruction book from him and realized that the type was so small, and I am overdue for a trip to the eye doctor. I couldn't read the instructions. So that convinced me that I will be waiting for him to show up. We've scheduled for him to come back down on Friday, and hopefully again everything will be there and it'll all get put together. Yeah, I definitely need new glasses or new something. I'm also at that age where cataracts are slowly starting to work their way in. The last time I was at the eye doctor, they told me, yeah, you're starting to develop cataracts, but it's far too early to do anything about them. Yeah, that's wonderful. You love when you hear that, right? um, so anyway, like I said, I expect to have it all put together. He's put together hundreds, literally hundreds of machines. I've put together a few in my day too, so there's nothing terribly complicated going on in there. Um, so yeah, that's actually a good idea. Yeah, use the phone and zoom in on it. I'll steal. I have stolen my wife's reading glasses and put them on over my glasses just to use as magnifiers. Again, not exactly the prettiest sight, but it's functional. So anyway, like I said, one more week of nursing the old dinosaur, and I don't mean me, um, through some streams. Um, I have learned that as long as I keep the content of the streams simple, and by simple I mean I can probably play around with pretty much anything within World Anvil. Um, but um, jumping, I do have map stuff to do, and normally today would be my mapping day. But the map software is a little bit more buffer intensive, and that seems to be where my problems are. Is over the course of a 2-hour stream, the buffers build up and finally back up. So I'm going to stay away from that for one more week. And what I'm going to do today is something else that I've been putting off for a long time anyway, and that is to actually start putting some stats in. First, for a couple of NPCs that my various play groups have all. I have 3 play groups right now running through a few adventures in the world, and they're all running the same adventures. But I have a few NPCs, that I have on paper that I want to actually get into World Anvil. And if I can get through that quickly, what I'm then going to start doing is actually loading my players' character sheets into World Anvil. And basically the way that works is I have to kind of create them as NPCs, because the World Anvil campaign management system is designed so that players are the ones who actually own a character sheet, not the dungeon master. So I can't create a character sheet. I can't create a player character sheet. What I can do though is create a non-player character sheet, fill it all up, and then invite one of my players to take it over. All right, so that's the approach that I'm going to be taking. I'll start with one of my play groups, probably the one that's most amenable to trying new things. But eventually I'll want to get all my characters in. And I have the character sheets on paper, so I don't even have to be bouncing around between windows, and risking overstraining the poor dinosaur here. So that's what we're going to take off into. Yeah, I can create a regular sheet, exactly, Tillers, and then hand it over once it's done. So that's the approach that I'm going to take. Now, I'm using the World of Cartyrion is based on Pathfinder 2. So for now, for the character sheets that I'm going to be using, I will be using the Pathfinder 2 character sheets that I believe Davina, I think it is, created. There is one thing that seems to be at least missing. I know she's still working. Davina. I don't even know if Davina is a he, she, they. But so we'll say they. One thing that isn't there yet, but I know Davina's not done yet with the whole Pathfinder 2 suite. Typically, a non-player character sheet is a lot smaller, or there's a lot less information on than there is on a character sheet. I do not see. She said Davina finished them based on. Well, I hope not, because all I see published is there's a character sheet, There's an action feat sheet, and there's a spell sheet. Then there's oh yeah, the PC sheet. Yeah, the PC sheet is definitely done. Typically, though, for an NPC, you would have a much smaller sheet because you don't need to know all of the same details for an NPC that you would for a PC. But having said that, there's nothing wrong with using the PC sheet, at least for now. There's nothing missing from an NPC, that an NPC needs that isn't on the character sheet. So if I just want to get something in there so that I can start filling up some of the campaign information, we'll go with the character sheets. And some of these NPCs may actually, have a fair amount of interaction. So we're going to see how this works. So let's jump into the very first one, and we're going to create a new sheet. I've already picked one of my 3 campaigns, although actually the campaign doesn't matter at this point, because when you create the character sheets, that they're just part of your world. Oh, this might help. I may not have to load up everything, so that's a good thing. It looks like this is. I have never looked at the sheet before, by the way. So, if there's anybody out there yet for Pathfinder 2, you and I are going to discover together what's here. So let's open up character sheet. The name of the block in your list. I assume that means I'm not sure what this means. Host incoming from Bigfoot. Bigfoot Bjornson, thank you for the hosting. By the way, hello, and by the way, hello, Coffee Quills. I've been talking to Tillers a bit already, so anybody else I missed that's here yet? Moonflower, yep. Good afternoon, evening to all of you. I think it's evening for Moonflower, afternoon for Tillers, evening for Coffee Quills. Bigfoot, I have no idea. The one on top is just the default name you need to give. Yeah, so let's assume it's a character name, and I'll repeat it if I have to. Is this an entry field, or is it already there? There it is. Okay. Oh, there's an example text. Okay, cool. I assume this would be. Oh, okay. I get it now. So the first person we're going to create is a dryad. We'll try that. Castilia, and some of these things are going to be interesting because this isn't a player character. She's medium. Her alignment is chaotic good. She has traits. She is Fey. She is a nymph. Let's spell it right. Oh, and she also has the plant attribute, the plant trait. Deity we don't care about. Class. What I'm probably going to put here is the fact that she's a dryad. I'm not going to deal with ancestry and heritage, or background, or level, or hero points. That will do. for now. She does have ability scores. Now I know what her bonuses are, but I think I have to put in the numbers. So we'll call it a 10. Her dex will be an 18. Her constitution will be a 12. Her int will be a 14. Her wisdom will be a 16. And her charisma will be an 18. And that should calculate the modifiers that I need. Our class main ability is actually going to be charisma. Okay, that was a selection list. She's going to be trained, at least in that. I'm not going to worry about that yet. Again, a lot of these things matter more for players than for non-players. So this is part of the problem. In an NPC, I would just put in what her armor class is. I wouldn't have to play the game of guessing or of faking it. She's on armor trained. She's not using a shield. Now her armor class is a 19. Oh, I do need to give her a level. And that's going to matter. You know what we're going to do? We're going to save this. I want to see what this... I'm going to see what this looks like along the way. There's some music sounds. Good morning, E Songbird. So let's take a look at what we're building as we go here. Okay, she's a dryad. Let me make sure those numbers are all right. 0, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That looks good. We're working on armor class right now. Alright, at the moment she's a 15. I need her to end up at a 19. So that tells me that I just need, again, I don't care how I get there. So we're going to just throw that in. We'll give her a bonus of 4. She should now have a 19 armor class. Once I refresh this page. Good. She has a 19 armor class. That's all I really care about. Let's get her saving throws in. She's supposed to end up +6. +11 and +10, but I don't have her trained in those yet, so, or expert or whatever. So that's what I have to do with that. Saving throws. Let's find out if it's trained or expert that she needs to be. We'll set them up to trained first. Now we're at 6, 9, and 8, which isn't nearly where I need to be. Oh, yes, it is. No, 6, 11, and 10. Okay. So that tells me, and it helps to know the rules, that tells me that to get her saving throws right, she needs to be an expert in reflex, and an expert in will. Trained is correct for fortitude, though. Good morning, AJ. How we doing? So now again, if we take a quick look, we'll see that we've got her base abilities we've got right. Our class DC, I don't necessarily care about. Her armor class is right. Her saves are now 6, 11, and 10, which is correct. Now let's start playing with her skills. Okay. This is the fun part. Now if we come down to skills, she's at least trained in the following: acrobatics, athletics, crafting, diplomacy, nature. She's going to be an expert. She might even be a master. Stealth, and survival. I have a feeling she's an expert in survival. I have a feeling she's a master in nature, but let's find out. If they're too high, then I fix them. So again, I know what the end numbers are supposed to look like, so. Alright. Acrobatics 9, that's correct. Athletics 5, that's correct. Crafting 7, that's correct.
David Blaine Ascension.
Diplomacy 9,
August
that's
31st,
correct.
2020.
Nature,
Live only on YouTube.
interesting, because she gets a 13. So I'm going to have to give her an item bonus in nature to boost that one up. Stealth is a 9, that's correct, and survival is a 12, so she must be an expert in that. So what was it? Nature needs an item boost, and survival needs a level boost. Skills. So nature gets a +1. Survival, she gets to be a master. Okay, so going through them again. Looking at the ones that I needed to change. Nature should be a 13 now. Why isn't it? Did I not update that? Why didn't it take the item boost? Survival is a 12, that's correct. Alright, so nature is still wrong. What is wrong with nature? I'm not sure why it didn't take that. There's no armor penalty, it's just that. Okay, is that a bug? Is that a bug report? Let's just make a little note. other important pieces of information do I need to know? We need to know that she is... this might be under armor and health. Let's see. Resistances and immunities are here. Now that's interesting. Weaknesses are not. So let's do this. Let's see what this looks like. See what that ends up looking like. See if we can fool it. Alright, that'll do for now. Typically, player characters don't have weaknesses. It's only monsters and NPCs that could. Well, technically, this is a creature, so I'm treating her as an NPC because she'll be around for a while. But yeah. Typically, PCs don't have weaknesses, but creatures do. So that's actually an entry that would have to be on an NPC or a creature sheet, and not necessarily on a player character sheet. But for now, since I'm really just doing this so that these things are visible, that will do. It's the wrong heading, but that's okay. What else do I need to know? Her speed. That should be back up in basic information. Was that in basic information? It was not. That's because there's a speed and movement section. Okay. Speed including units, and then movement including units. Okay, that's for the alternate types, I would suppose. Her speed is 25 feet. Yeah, she's not fly. She doesn't fly or anything else like that. While we're here, let's get her languages in. She speaks Common, Elven, Sylvan, and we're going to make a note here too that she can also speak with plants, although that'll come up a few other times too. Feats and abilities, inventory and equipment. Let's go under feats and abilities. These aren't all exactly necessarily feats. So they are and they aren't. Okay, if I wanted to create separate stat blocks for these, I could do that here using the feat stat block. I'd do that just to try it. It's more of a, you know what, it's more of a condition. But it's not a condition either. How are we going to put this one in here? Oh, we'll get to that. Isn't this fun? Let's see. Let's jump into the spell book. this time I may have to actually import. Do I have to import the spells, or are they there already? I guess we'll find out. Because, for example, she has... Oh, okay, yeah, that needs a block. Uh, let's see, how are we going to do this? Yeah, these all want block numbers, don't they? So, yeah, spells go into spell books. You add the lists of numbers there. So what do I need to do? Is there no notes field where I can add them for now? There might be. Let's see. Um, there's an inventory and equipment. Oh, there is a spellbook section. Let's see, what does this look like? Stat blocks for your spells. But there's nothing here. So that's not going to do me anything. That's not going to do me anything. Oh, they'll be here when I have the block IDs. Okay. All right, so I need to find the block IDs for the spells that she's got. And I know there are a lot of spells already defined. So let us open up a new tab and go hunting. And I think what I want to do is look under sheets and blocks. I don't want to create new ones. So let's come back here for a minute. That's what I want to do. I want to see what's available. So for example, she's got, what am I looking at here? Spells. Okay. So let's look for, there's no search on here, is there? Looking for tree stride. We'll start right at the beginning, and they're not all here yet. Oh, why do I say? Well, this is the Pathfinder 2 set, so I don't know if that's what you were looking at, Tillers, or not. Yeah, there's not many spells, so I might have to create them. Is that what I'm seeing here? I mean, I'm not surprised that not every spell is created yet. It's gonna make me get my books out. Actually, I don't need to get my books out yet. I can just get the names and let's. This is an exploratory exercise. We have more raiders. Oh, Enazel is coming in. Enazel, thank you for the raid, and welcome, followers of Enazel. This is kind of an exploratory session anyway, so let's have fun creating things. Let us go back to here and let us create a new, oh, I didn't want a feat sheet, sorry. All right, I'll clean that up later. I want a Pathfinder 2 spell sheet. And the spell is going to be called Tree Stride. It is a 5th level spell. I have no idea what school it is. Oh, you know what? Give me a second. Hopefully this isn't going to kill me. Or kill my poor machine. Let me bring up the PDF, the spell book. Yeah, this way, like I said, I'm not going to necessarily create the whole thing, although I might be able to copy and paste it in off the PDF and just get it done. We'll try it and see what happens. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah, I can see the reason for including them as separate blocks if you can use that to expand and contract the information. But yes, I mean ultimately somebody has to add them. Either that or you have to be able to read them all from an SRD, which should be doable. I mean this information should all be available in the SRD. So I'm looking for tree. Oh, okay, it's a conjuration spell. We know that now. And here we have it. Uncommon conjuration plant teleportation. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do that. So this is the traits, right? Yes. Common plant. Conjuration plant teleportation. Yeah. It is a conjuration spell. It is primal. Somatic material, somatic verbal, and material. Cast 1 minute. It doesn't take her 1 minute to do it, but we'll put that in. Doesn't have a range. While I'm here, let's just do this. Range, target, duration, saving throw, none of those apply. So that should do. That should be enough. So let's save that. I should mark that as shareable, shouldn't I? Although I do need to see how she puts in the heightened information. Let's put it in just in case. see. So that's everything we need to know about the spell. So if I save all of that, and then I come back to my list of stat blocks, I should be able to click the block ID. Is it the block ID I need, Tillers? I assume it's the block ID I need. Let's copy that to the clipboard anyway. And then when we come across to spell books, okay, what are these numbers? Can you help me out here, Tillers? There's two numbers here. It's good to have the sheet expert on with me. So just pasting the block ID isn't going to do it. Yes, need to put them into level 5. Good point. Where was I? Level 5. Okay. Oh, okay. Is that all that is? So it's just the block ID? Like that? Is that it? Oh, okay. That's easy enough. And then the vertical bar if there's more than one. All right, so let's see what this looks like. So if I save that, and then jump across and do a quick refresh and view. When we get down into spell casting, what do we see? Oh, at the top. What did I miss? Oh, spellbook. Uh-huh. Tree Stride. There it is. Level 5 Conjuration. Am I supposed to be able to see anything else here? Or is this clickable? Colors are bad. Yes, they are. No, it's just the spell is. All right, so all that information is there. It's just in colors that make it impossible for me to see. And if I can't see it, then I'm sure um, Coffee Quill's had enough, huh? Tiller says, I can fix it. Is this because I'm using the dark, the dark theme for Pathfinder, for World Anvil? Yeah, Path, World Anvil itself gives you like a light or a dark or I think there's a blue, a black, and a white. I'm on the blue. It's not my world theme. It's just the editor theme. If I go back into where do I even need to go? Interface and accessibility. Yeah. Let me see what happens if I go to Heroes mode. Let's see if all of a sudden everything works and lights up. So that puts me here now. course, having done that. Yeah. Okay, so that's what that is. All right, so if I'm in hero mode, I can read it just fine. But if I picked one of the other interface modes for World Anvil itself, the coloration is messy. All right, Tillers is fixing it. So let me know, and in the meantime, I'm gonna leave it here just so we can. Yep, take your time, Tillers. I'll stay here. This is perfectly workable for me for now. All right, so we have a spell. I have a bunch more that I'm gonna have to put in for her. Um, what else? Charm, sleep, entangle, and tree shape. And then tanglefoot and speak with plants. Let's see if any of those exist. So let's come back to here. And let's do the browse thing again. Let's see if any of those exist. Apparently somebody created a bard. All the spells that I'm seeing here are bard spells, which tells me I'm not going to find too many druidy-like nature spells. So the other thing I did want to do, though, is I wanted to go back into this guy and this is the sheet. Yeah, I don't want to mess with this yet. So this is easier to read now too. Clearly, this was all defined for hero mode, and I can live with that. Um, I need to come back to here. I need to go back to here. Oh, that's that. That was that action feat that I didn't want to create, so I can delete that right now. And I'm going to delete this as a dummy. That's nothing. So let's clean that up. I do want to let just to be helpful. I do want to come in here, and I want to allow users to view this block directly and share it with the community. I see no reason not to do that. So we'll save those changes. Oh, and then we can create another spell. So now let us create Charm. I'm surprised Charm's not. You know what? I'm going to skip Charm for the moment because that is a bard-like spell. So it might I might have just missed seeing that one. Likewise, Sleep. But let's do Entangle and let's do Tree Shape, and then we're going to be more careful looking. Tree Shape is a level 2 spell. Plant Polymorph Transmutation. Primal. And it might be more of those. Actually, does it tell me? Yes, this one is just primal, and so is Tree Stride. Okay. 2 actions, somatic vermal 8 hours. Is there a saving throw on that one? No, because it's a cast on self. So, I'm a firm believer that something that needs to be cast on yourself should actually list as a target self. So I'm putting that in there. And then we're going to just copy the text block. Oh, and by the way, in case anybody's wondering, these copies are legal in Pathfinder because spell descriptions are part of the SRD, and the whole SRD is open gaming license. So there's no copyright violations involved here as long as everybody knows it's Pathfinder. That should be all I need for this one. So let's save that. Is there anything else I can safely do now? She's got a bunch of spells. Tanglefoot, speak with plants as cantrips. But let's go for them. Let's do our first cantrip. I assume cantrip is a choice here. It is not. Interesting. What do we do with cantrips? They're not level 1s. Cantrips are level 0 if there was going to be a number, but there isn't a number. And I can't pick 0. So we're going to put it in as a level 1 for now. And we will deal with it. Actually, what was the other one? Tanglefoot was the other one, right? Tanglefoot. Wait, let me qualify that. There might be another way to deal with cantrips. No, it's not there. Let's do Tanglefoot first, though. Oh, Tanglefoot. It's going to be marked as a cantrip here, isn't it? Yes, cantrip conjuration plant. So we know it's conjuration. Arcane and primal. Somatic and verbal. 2 actions. "30-foot range, target 1 creature." And yes, I know bottled water bad for environment. Local water here is so heavily chlorinated that unless you have a good filtration system, it's horrible. Once it's filtered, the water is excellent, but it needs to be filtered, and I don't have access to one right now. Let's see. get all of the information in here. We'll see. Because that's everything I need to know. And then let's see how we're going to arrange it. Critical success. Success. And there's the heightenings. Now this matters because she actually casts at level 2 because she's a level 3 creature. But that should do. Oh yes, there is a saving throw. And does it say what the save is here? Does it not say what the save is here? No, it's a spell attack. That's why. Oh, here's another wonderful thing. Again, this is one of the things that is missing on occasion. If I have to if I have to do an attack, this should have the attack trait, just like, for example, over here, telekinetic projectile has the attack trait. This should also have the attack trait, because that affects other things. I'm going to leave it out for now, but because I want to do a little bit of research before I commit to that. One of the things I'm trying to do in Cartyrion, eventually I hope to. Now I know Paizo, of course, releases errata and things like that too, but there are a number of places where they, although they do a very good job of being standard throughout all of their books and is very careful about using, what words they use to mean certain things and so forth. There are a lot of places where they don't, they're not as standard as they should be, and it creates because they're so good at it everywhere else. Any place where they miss automatically is ambiguous. I am trying to catch as many of those as possible, and this is one of the examples. Normally, if I have to if I have to do an attack, then because the way with spells, one of two things happens. Either I have to make an attack roll in order for it to work, in which case I have to beat the opponent's armor class, or I cast the spell and the opponent has to make a saving throw. All right, it's one or the other. But usually when there's an attack, it also affects the rest of my actions, and that's what the attack trait would do. So what this is saying as written is that if I wished, for example, I could cast this spell to make an attack on somebody, and then with the third action I have left in my turn, because that's how Pathfinder works, I could hit him with my quarterstaff, for example, but not have any penalty at all associated with hitting him with the quarterstaff. If this has the attack trait, then that quarterstaff attack would be the second attack I'm making in a round, and that carries a penalty. So it matters. The fact that it says it's an attack in the text but doesn't say it's an attack in the traits is either an oversight or it's something very deliberate. And I'm going to have to take to the Reddits and actually recheck the errata too and make sure they didn't forget or miss something, because that's possible. I do have the errata sheets, to see if that's something that had to be fixed. You know what? That I can do real quick. I can at least rule out the errata real quick. Where do I want to be? Let's see if there's any errata for Tanglefoot. Come on. How are we doing stream-wise here, by the way? Oh, no drop frames yet. I shouldn't say that. I'll be cursing myself. Okay, so under feats, equipment, under skills, under spells. You'll see there's some here that remove the attack trait from a whole bunch of spells. What page am I looking for, by the way? I'm looking for page. Tanglefoot is on 377. Okay. Okay, doesn't look like it. I want to look at something though. I'm going to look, for example, real quick at something that's nearby. So let's say spider sting. Because if that says make an attack in the text and they've explicitly said remove the attack trait, then that tells me that that is something that they intentionally want to do. And as I said, that has a meaning in the game. And I can understand that and I can live with it, but I want to make sure I'm doing it the way it's really intended. So if spider sting, yeah, spider sting has the attack trait. No, you see, this almost reinforces what I'm saying. All right, in this case, there was an attack trait up here and a fortitude save called for. It's never both. Either I have to succeed at an attack, or the opponent has to fail at a save when a spell is cast. Never both, or at least not never both for the basic action to happen. There might be some extra stuff that'll happen that needs a save, but for the basic spell to trigger, it's one or the other. So they're removing the attack from this one because it's a saving throw spell. I'm guessing that if it's a make an attack spell, there should be an attack modifier on it. So I am going to do the following. Since right now I'm the one that's using it, although I am sharing it, I am going to do this. It says attempt a spell attack against the target. Note. Trait. Not in. I'm just going to put that little note there. And then over here, I'm going to add attack as a trait, because I think it belongs there. So now that we've done that, we can save that one. We can create our speak with plants. Now that one lets me leave that at level 0, so maybe I'll keep that one at level 0. But I couldn't edit the other one to level 0, could I? That's interesting. Speak with plants. That's interesting too. Well, she's a dryad. So, am I reading this wrong? No. Okay, it's actually a 4th level spell. So we're going to have to enter this one as a 4th level. She gets to cast it as a cantrip. Divination, which is not surprising because she's a dryad. Didn't want to do that. I want to do that. Let's see. What are we doing here? Let me jump back up. Tiller's one of the many reasons I love the committee. Yeah. Oh, you made the spell template so you can fix it. If you get a fancy text editor, you can replace all of the backslash n's with a space using regular expressions. Or just copy paste a new line. Yeah, I mean, I'm putting the breaks. I'm used to Euclid as my editor for everywhere else, so the breaks are gonna do are in there. Tillers, we're gonna fix them in. Dazzly Cat, need to draw mini maps in sections so that each is a full panel. Yeah. That depends on what tool you're using. Are you talking about needing to create a map and then print it out for tabletop use? Because if that is the case, then I get, and it depends on the tool you want to use. But I will definitely tell you that, for example, Dungeon Fog, if you're doing battle maps especially, um, Dungeon Fog has an export option that lets you. Oh, you're doing them hand drawn. Okay. Um, Dungeon Fog has an export option where you actually tell it, I'm going to print this out on paper and use it on a tabletop, and it knows to divide the pages up according to the grid that you've built onto the map, so that all of the page breaks happen exactly at grid breaks. So it literally is it's simple to take scissors and tape or something like that and turn it into a multi-page map. But you're hand drawing, so you've got problems anyway. So Aegon, good morning to you. How we doing? Yeah, Tillers, give me a yell when you think you have it done, and I'll try switching back to the other coloration scheme. We'll see what happens. So this is a classic. Speak with Plants is letting me be a level 0. The other one didn't let me do level 0. This one is letting me do level 0, and I don't want it to be level 0. I want this one to be level 4. Or did you add the 0? Because Tillers is hiding in the background doing the spell sheets for me. Excellent. In that case, you let me go back and fix the other one. Let me get this one done, and then I'm going to go back and fix the one we just did. This is Speak with Plants. It is divination, plant, primal only. Primal. Somatic verbal, 2 actions, 10 minutes. Verbal. $10. We changed the font too. But now I can't see my cursor. Level 4 divination primal. That's all I need for that one. Alright, so let's go back to my list of stat blocks. Let's fix Tanglefoot to now be a level 0 because it's a cantrip. Isn't this great when you have tillers working behind the scenes to fix all the little problems as you go? Won't the other people be surprised? All right, so let me see what happens now, tillers, if I switch the accessibility or the interface rather back to the Terror from the Deep. I'll try the third one too. After I do this, we'll see what this looks like now, though. I want stat blocks. And then we're going to, let's just bring one of them up. Okay, I assume you're watching. You can see that these things apparently inherit from whatever theme you're working on. That didn't change, but what happens when I view the sheet now? All right, now it just stays in white, and that's perfectly fine. That's excellent. It's readable, and that's all that really matters. So what we're going to do is we're going to write down again. Her cantrips should both be in there now because her two cantrips. Oh, pardon me. No, I need entangle. Oh, let's try this again. Stat blocks. Let's look one more time and make sure that I'm not creating something that somebody else already created. I'm looking for entangle and I'm looking for charm. I don't see either. So we will create both. Entangle. Is a second level spell, plant transmutation primal. Primal only. Somatic verbal, 2 actions, 120 feet. Area, all squares in a 20-foot radius burst that contain plants. There is no area section. Aha. Tillers, you out there? There are a number of spells that define area or target. You're using target for area. Okay. Yeah, I guess that works. I'm not sure if there's any spells that define both. I will let you know if I come across any, but for now we'll do this. All squares in a 20-foot radius, 20-foot burst that contain plants. Is it going to let me put that much text in there? We'll find out, won't we? 1 minute. Help if I could spell. What's being said? Target area. Added border around the input field so that you can find them. Yeah, that. Yeah, that definitely helps. Again, you can see that that depending on the theme you're using, they're odd. Let me check the third theme, by the way, just for the um, just out of interest. I have to go back to my master to do that. I'll do that in a second. But for now, let's just get the text for entangle in. This is a nice straightforward one. Let's see. What did I just do? And on a critical failure. Okay. Can you do something so I can see the cursor? That's the thing that's missing right now. Ooh, there's something weird going on here. Not sure why that's not wrapping right. This is also the wrong format for all the other things that they do. Uh, these are the kind of inconsistencies that I like to try to fix. So in this case, what I would do is just say, because it says attempt the reflex save. So the target is unaffected. Failure. Actually, creatures in the affected area. Speeds until they leave the area. And critical failure. Ah, that's better. Uh, creatures in the affected. Uh, Actually, this needs to be cleaned up a little. Sure is also immobilized for 1 round. This should be the creature, because each one is going to get their own save. Each round the creature starts the turn in its area must accept a reflex save. Success. The creature is unaffected. Failure, critical failure. Those are all that really matter. There is no extra bonus for critical success. So that should do. And we'll save that one. Let's catch up a little bit here. Hello, Riku. Tillers, it's the effing editor. It has all its own CSS classes. Yeah. Let's see. Added a border on the input fields. Yes, I saw that. Thank you very much for that. Cursor invisible. Yeah, the cursor is kind of invisible, at least in this mode. Again, let me check the other modes and see if it comes back or better. But in this mode, it's all but invisible. If it's leaning up against the character, I can see it. So let me try the other methods, and we'll see what happens. Again, we'll start with heroes, because that's the one that it seems like everything was built for originally. Let me refresh the screen. Why does that sound dangerous? This was after a save, so I can come back to this. Let's do that. Stat blocks. Ooh, what's this? Oh, those. Oh, I set those up to be shared. That's what those are. Okay. I was just playing with Tanglefoot, right? So let's bring that back into the editor now. Now the cursor's still invisible. And in the meantime, just to complete the, oh, I don't want profile, I want interface accessibility. Just to complete the test, let's try the villain's dark gray theme as well and see what that does. So again, articles or stat blocks rather. Let's try that again. World stat blocks. Tanglefoot. See, now that brings me back to a dark editor, and I can see my cursor. Unless you just change that, and now it's okay for everything. But here I can see the cursor, so that's good. Everything else is quite readable. These things are even a little more readable than they are in the blue. But I don't think that one's your fault. I think that's a fault of the theme. Let's find out. Let's go back to the blue. And now if I'm back in the blue, all right, I can see, well, when I hover over these, I can see what they are, and that's good enough. Now I have a cursor. That's good. Now let's make sure we didn't break heroes. Making that input field light is of no good. Should be the same on all themes now. Okay, let's just make sure. Stat blocks. Did I change the theme? Am I losing my mind? Interface and accessibility. Come on. Interface. Go back to hero mode. Why do I keep hitting articles when I don't want articles? I want stat blocks. And at least for the Euclid editor, yes, everything is back now and I can see cursors. So you know what, Tillers? I am perfectly happy because I don't know if people with other editors are going to have different issues, but as far as I am concerned, you have succeeded admirably. You've earned your pay for the week. Okay, now where were we? We were. Let's see where we are now with a bunch. I know I need at least one more spell that I need to create. But let's see where we are here now. All right. I know I've done Tree Stride. I need to do Charm. I need to do Sleep. I need Entangle and Tree Shape. Have I done Entangle? I've done Entangle. 495, 396. I assume that's the block ID that I want, yeah. And Tree Shape, which is 495, 378. So if I come into Castilia's NPC sheet, and I go not to her spell book, but to her spell list, and under level 2 spells, put in 495, 396, vertical bar, 495, 378, 8, not 9, and save that. We should now see a spell book that's got Tree Stride. And why don't I see the level 2 spells? Is that because I didn't share them? Do I need spaces? Let's see if we need spaces. Save changes. That could be a parsing issue. Still don't see them. Alright, so let's do one more thing. and see if this is what makes the difference. It'll be interesting if it is, but because again, I'll be happy to make these things available anyway. Well, tree shape is public, so that one should be. Well, here we go, half hour to go, and things are slowing down. What is this? Oh, that's that. Let me move that. I need to move that. No, I don't want another Adobe Acrobat anything here. Okay. What I want to do is take Entangle and make it visible. Then I want to come down to my stat blocks. All right, let's make sure they're copying correctly. Entangle and tree shape. So let's copy that. Come into Castilia. Spell books. Second level. That looks the same to me. Let's try something. If it's just by itself. That works. Is it a comma? It is a comma, not a vertical bar. Aha. Should be the same as in all themes. Is this the vertical line? Let me check. Yeah, apparently it's a comma, not a vertical line. Comma works fine. Which means the example text that's on each one is wrong, because the example text shows the pipe. Okay, so I have my second level spells. I have my fifth level spell. I need Charm and Sleep. Oh, and Tanglefoot and Speak with Plants are my cantrips. Let's get those in. I wish there was a way to do quick lookups on these. Not something I expect you to do on the fly for me, Tillers, but if that's something you could take back to the powers that be, If there was a way to do a search, enter a spell name and have it come back with the block ID, that would make this process tremendously faster. But I'm going to need Speak with Plants, which is 495382 and 495380. And while I'm here, let's share the wealth. Okay, and now I can go back to and now under cantrips, 495382, 495380. Pardon me just 1 second. One other thing, Tillers, just again for information. I don't know how to best to handle it, but in this case, at least again for a player character, things are right out of the rule book and it's pretty straightforward. So this isn't an issue. But once you start getting to NPCs or especially creatures, like in this case a dryad that's casting spells, um, she is casting. First of all, she's casting spells that normally she wouldn't be able to cast, like Tree Stride. But second of all, um, she's casting Speak with Plants as if it were a cantrip. All right, not as a level 4 spell, and it's just because of she is who she is, and she can do it at will. All right, there's an extra note in here that she can actually cast this at will, um, which almost implies that it's a free action and everything else. I don't even know what it applies rule wise, as opposed to like any other cantrip that you can cast at least once every time, every turn, even in combat. Um, so I don't know. I guess when Davina gets around to NPC sheets or creature sheets, there might be a need to put some extra notes on spells. I would leave the spells the way they're defined in the book, which is what we're doing here, which is fine. But we were talking in your stream about how the problem with a lot of games these days is that that there's a billion rules, and the reason there's a billion rules is because you try to put together one simple rule to cover everything, and then along come the exceptions. And in order to stop the arguments about the exceptions, you have to document the exceptions. And once you start documenting exceptions, now you have to document every last one of them. All right, and this is why the Pathfinder core rulebook, for example, is over an inch thick. Um, it, I guess it's a hazard of the business. But let's see. So who else is around and who else is doing what today? This is definitely a slight difference. All right, so we got our cantrips. We got our level 2s. We got our level 5. I need a 4 and a 3 and I'm done. I need charm and I need sleep. We can do this. We come back to stat blocks. I want to create another Pathfinder spell. I want to create charm. I want to find charm. Charm is a first level spell, which she casts as a 4th level spell, which means it's heightenable. And there it is. Okay. Charm, first level spell, Arcane Occult Primal. That's going to be enchantment, which isn't one of the choices. We're missing a choice in this list. Emotion, enchantment, incapacitation, mental. Oh, what's missing? Enchantment. Let's see, is everything else there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. Yeah, there's an 8th one. It's enchantment. Like that. Arcane Occult Primal. Verbal only, I believe. Somatic and verbal. 2 actions. 30 feet, 1 creature. This one lists a saving throw. Duration is 1 hour. I'd like to keep the formats the same. You can dismiss the spell. Okay, so that gets a break. Enchantment is now, and also unknown. Yeah, I mean, unknown is a good safe one to keep in there. I probably have to refresh this, so let me do that. Let me save.
Did I forget to put the level in? I forgot to put the level in. It is a first level spell. And there's enchantment. And they're not showing up. Why are the level in school not showing up? Let's see if they're there. Don't you love this, Tillers? At least I'm giving you something to do today on your day off, right? What do I want to do? I want to come back here. And I want to add charm to Castilia as a fourth level spell. Oh, I didn't put the heightening stuff in there. I'll have to go back and do that. But as a fourth level spell, we'll save that. And then we'll see what it looks like in her spellbook. Cantrips, level 2 spells, level 4 spell. Charm, it says level 1 enchantment up there. So that's fine. So it's there, it took it. I do need to come back in here and fix the heightening on that, though. So, stat blocks. Alright, that takes care of that. It's just white on white, yeah. Oh, they're white on whatever, working on, yeah. Aren't you glad that Dimmy decided to put themes in the editors? I want to make sure everybody gives a big hand to Tillers. He has been tremendous help during this whole session. What started out as a session to basically play with and learn how to use some of the templates that Davina has been creating has turned into a whole editing and improvement session for not just for those specific templates, but I guess for some of the general stuff, because it looks like a lot of these issues had to do with how the editors interacted. And this is a problem with all of this stuff. If you're used to one editor, you build your CSS, you build your appearance code to look good for what you see. And sometimes you forget that other people, might be using different editor preferences or editor like in this case, all of a sudden, the font colors that you needed to be nice, crisp, and clear and standing out turn into white on white for somebody else. So you have to build your code to detect what other people are doing, or well, you have to hope that somewhere in there there's a CSS layer that does that for you, that detects what's going on and deals with it. So I guess that's also another lesson, not just for these things, not just for sheets, but even for articles. Especially if you start playing around with CSS for an article, and you start playing around with the percent important or the exclamation important tag on colors, especially, you really need to make sure that not only do you have, not only are you exerting control over the color, let's say, of a font, but if you're going to do that, you better have control over the color of the background as well. Because otherwise, something somewhere else might give you a background that your color choice of font suddenly becomes unreadable. All right, and it's one more thing to think about, one more thing to worry about. But this is the life of CSS and style programming. Oh, look at this. We're starting to wrap up. This is good though. So I got charm in, and I needed to get sleep in. Let's see if we can squeeze this out real quick. So we got in charm. Let's knock off sleep. Sleep. That's, I'm certain, going to be a level 1 heightenable spell, but let's find out. Sleep. Yes, it's level 1, and it's heightenable to 4th, okay, which is why she has them as 4th level spells. But it's a level 1. This is also going to be enchantment, right? Yes. Enchantment, incapacitation, mental sleep. Arcane, occult, somatic, verbal, 30 feet. Arcane, occult, somatic, verbal, 30 feet. 2 actions, 5-foot burst. Will saving throw. No duration listed. All right, that was an easy one. So now we're putting in sleep as a 3rd. Charm is a 4th. We did charm, right? So 495, 418, and 425. We come back up to Castilia. And into the spellbook. gotten charm in there. We need to put sleep in here. $495,425. Let's check the spell book. We have 2 cantrips. We have 2 second level spells. We have a 3rd level spell, a 4th level, and a 5th level. Perfect. Okay, so we've got the spell book all built. The last thing we're going to do, and then we're going to wrap up the stream, is now that I have Castelia, I'm not sure what I'm going to need to do this, so I'm going to think about it this way. I'm going to grab Castelia's character sheet clip here. I'm going to come to campaigns. I'm going to come into home. I'm in my playgroup 2. I'm going to define an NPC. Not Harley. I'm going to create a new one called Castelia the Dryad. I'm not going to bother with a portrait yet. Not sure where to put her. She's not quite an ally. We'll call her neutral party for now. And then we'll do a save changes. And oh, it's going to let me select the character sheet from here. How about that? Where's Castelia? There it is. Eventually I'll have to do some other things. I know where she is, at least on large scale. And I'm going to save the changes. And now we have Castelia in there. And that will allow me to pull her in on things like plots and other things related to the campaign. So that was the exercise for today, was to go through the exercise of building an NPC, loading up the NPC, and of course I happened to pick one with a bunch of spells. This turned out to be, I think, in the long term beneficial, although Tillers might not think so. Again, thank you tremendously for your help, Tillers, in fixing a lot of those editor issues on the fly. I'm sure other people coming behind will be grateful as well. It's a shame they may not all know what how much behind the scenes work goes on here, but now everybody else that's on the stream got to see it live. How many different times Tillers had to jump back in and fix stuff literally as I was using it. Greatly, greatly appreciated. For everybody else, we're going to be raiding, I'm assuming, Hefe. Let's see. Hefe or Stormbrill? Does anybody have any preferences? It looks like they're both up. So if I see any preferences in the chat, we'll jump there. And if not, I'll probably do Hefe, just because I usually do. Then again, because I usually do, maybe I should do Stormbrill today. What do you think? Anybody have an opinion? Somebody type something. Even if you just type I don't care. I want to know you're out there. Sable waves to Bob. Finally caught one of my streams, even if it's just at the end. Yes, you are. Yeah, I usually do Hefe. He's always there behind me. I do try to mix it up. I don't think I've done Stormbrill in a while, so maybe we'll raid Stormbrill today. And if anybody wants to see Hefe, then after sit through the raid, say hello to Stormbrill, and then sneak out and go join Hefe. And this is the second time this has happened. I don't want that extra edit stuff up there. Get away. So, Makara says, not me. I don't know what that not me is for. No, you're not going to sneak away and see Hefe, but we're going to raid Stormbrill. So, again, thank you everybody for coming. I hope everybody learned a little something. Hope it was interesting for everybody. I'll be back to more normal article work on Tuesday. And until then, have a good day, everybody, and have a good rest of the weekend. We will be raiding in 10 seconds. And off we go.